Okay, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me very well. We warmly welcome you at our another webinar organized by the project MyStory along the Northern Lights route. My name is Natalia Pulakka, and I'm from Lapland University of Applied Sciences in Finland. And I would like to introduce my colleague. Of course, some of you have already met her, Attilia.
Hey, my name is Attilia Geiger. I am working as a project manager at Harti Business Hage in Norway.
Thank you. And of course, we have here our experts, our guest speakers from Magi Media, Magnus and Alexander, or Alex, we can
Good
call
morning.
Alex. Good morning, guys. But of course, we will give you the floor later on. I just will shortly introduce today's program. So after welcome part, guys will tell us about Tromsolove brand, and then about how your company can succeed in social media. But for now, I can see that there is for now 43 people attending the webinar room. And can we take right away at the beginning just one poll, very small poll. So have you been attending any of our previous webinars? This webinar is already 9th, as I remember correctly. Yeah, we have been organizing webinars like for more than 2 years. Yeah, we would like to see like how many people are like have been with us already, and if we have any new, because it's nice to meet new people. Yeah, so just choose yes or no. I will give you like few minutes to do it, and you can see also the answers in the percent. Yeah, so most of you have been already attending, but still we have many new attendees. That's very nice. By the way, this webinar, we will have another webinar on the 22nd of March. It will be our last webinar. And of course, we will send you the invitation, but you can already book the calendar. Yes, no. Yeah, it's like about 50-50. Yeah. Okay. So Attilia will be the host of the webinar as an expert in digital marketing. I will be here mostly as a technical support. And as a technical support, I will remind you, and of course this information is new for new people. So the webinar is recorded, and the recording will be automatically sent to your email after the webinar ends. Let me see the chat box. Good morning, Anthony. Yeah, I believe you have found already the chat box. So we'll just write there any messages, and of course during the presentation, guys will have few questions for you, so you can write answer there. You can write your question during the presentation there. We agreed with Alex and Magnus that you can ask questions during the presentation, so we will not have like question and answer session at the end of each part, but during the presentation. And for example, Alex can like stop in the middle and ask if there are any questions, so we will take them all. What else? Yeah, maybe Attilia, would you like to tell more about the content?
Yes. Yeah, welcome to the webinar. We're joined today by our two experts from Magi Media, and Magi Media is young but already quite well-known digital agency in Tromsø, and one of their biggest success stories and most known success stories is the channel Tromsolove, that has both been very good for them, but also built quite a very strong brand for Tromsø as a whole. So today, as you can see in the program, they will tell us a little bit about the success story behind Tromsolove, how they have built it, and how they built the invisible brand from 0 to well over 100,000 followers as of it is today. And in the second part of the webinar, we will then go a little bit from theory to practice, and they will give you the tools that you need to rebuild the success in your own channels. I'm not going to say a lot more because they will introduce themselves and tell a little bit about the work in their first slides. So that was it for me. Enjoy the webinar.
Thank you, Tilly. Thank you. So we don't have any question for now. So I believe, guys, we can give the screen to you, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm just gonna upload. Can we see the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. My name is Alex, and this is Magnus. I am a graphic designer and photographer at Magi Media here in Tromsø. And Magnus is our relationships and strategy leader. And this webinar is going to be about our success with Tromsolove. And it's going to be just our raw experiences where we learned and where we failed. So very little theory here. It's just us being very straight to the point. Let's see. Tromsolove started around 5-6 years ago, just around the same time as Magi has opened as a company. So it has some years already in the making. Let's see. And Tromsolove is, as for now, mainly on Instagram. And we're going to go a little bit on why it's only on Instagram. And that is because Instagram is, as of now, one of the most trending social platforms throughout the years. In 2021, it has been nominated to the top 4 most used social platform worldwide. And then you have WhatsApp on the third place, YouTube, and then Facebook on the first place. And as we all know, Instagram is owned by Facebook, now called Metaverse. It has over 1.4 billion users, so it gets more and more users, active users, every month. Hence it is trending. So it is one of the places that businesses should start looking for to build their accounts and build an account on this platform for their, not just Facebook, but also Instagram, because it is as popular as it is.
Also, when we are talking about Instagram, I think it's really relevant for us. My understanding of the participants in this webinar is mainly doing tourism-based things. So and Instagram is a really nice platform to use in that kind of way, because photographers are really enjoying visiting tourist places. With that said, and we will come back to that later in the second part when we're going to talk about more how you can take advantage of the power of Instagram.
Yeah, and compared to Facebook, it has the so-called algorithm that we're going to go into that is much more developed for helping you share your content and reaching new audiences that you would otherwise not be able to do naturally, organically on Facebook. And this kind of drives us into the first part of this presentation, and we're going to mainly talk about Tromsolove and the strategies that we used around it, and explaining a little bit about the algorithm and the pros and cons, and as the title of the webinar is saying, what the algorithm doesn't understand. And we're going to start with a little social experiment, as we call it, and we want you to write down on a piece of paper or in the chat. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but write down 3 things that you do on a social media as an individual. So if you own an Instagram account, what do you do when you log into Instagram? And very important that it's as an individual, so not as a business.
Or log into Facebook.
Or Facebook, for that matter.
we just take some time to they can think about the questions.
Yeah, so you can take a minute to think about it. And it's important. It doesn't matter if you write it in the chat, but it would be nice to write it in the chat so that we can look at it later and talk a little bit about it. Let's see. And also feel free to ask any questions if you don't understand something while we are talking. And we have 2 Q&A sessions in this webinar that we're going to stop a little bit and we're going to address your questions, the ones that are in the chat. Good. Interesting. Right.
Okay, I want you to save the rest of your comments to we are going to take this up later. Okay, it's very good, very good. Thanks for being engaged. Just save the rest of the comments for the end of the session today.
Yeah, so we will move forward and we'll come back to this later. But the algorithm, what is the so-called Instagram algorithm, the one that seemingly is changing every month on Instagram? Put in very theoretical words, the algorithm on Instagram calculates how likely someone is to interact with your content, your posts or your stories or your reels or any kind of content that you can post on Instagram. And it is affected by a lot of factors. It is affected by when you post the content, the hashtags you use, the captions, the type of post, the category that Instagram puts you in as an account. And this is a very important thing to understand. A lot of fresh accounts on Instagram, the algorithm doesn't know where to put you yet. So it takes a couple posts for it to understand, okay, so these guys are a business, we're going to put them in a business section. What kind of business section? There's very many categories. And once they figure that out, then it's easier for Instagram to find you the right audience to push it towards. And this is a very short term how the algorithm works. And obviously, it is much more complicated than that. But for the interest of time, this is not what the webinar today is. We're not going to explain how the algorithm works. You can do that research on your own. And it's a little bit important that you do that and understand it. And we're going to explain why very soon. Right. Short-term algorithm plays. And this is what I like to also call boosting. And this is what big businesses that have a lot of money do. They have big teams that they pay for that are always engaging with audiences. They're always boosting engagement. And engagement on Instagram is likes, comments, messages, DMs.
Segments.
Yeah, segments as well. So everything that each way that a person can interact with you is called an engagement. And big businesses that don't have time to build this organic growth with their accounts, they will just pay a lot of money and they will get teams to work on this and they will get a boost in engagement. And it's nice for them because in the short term, as a business, you want to look hot, right? You want to have big numbers, you want to have big audiences. The drawback here, however, is that they're not building a genuine connection with their audience. We call it short term because as soon as the money runs out, big businesses will never run out of money. But if you stop boosting and just fire the teams to stop engaging with the content, then your account is slowly going to bleed out.
And this is also the reason why so-called influencers are often have bigger profiles than like like in traditional thinking standards, big brands on Instagram, and in one kind of way also Tromsolove is one kind of influencer. I don't like that word at all, but still that's the reason, because because the influencers have a genuine relationship with their audience compared to, for example, a car producent or whatever.
And this is what the main, one of the first ideas that we're trying to make sure that you guys remember out of this webinar is that social media should not be looked at as a sprint. We shouldn't focus on big numbers quickly. It's more of a marathon. We have to take it slow, and we have to, as we did with Tromsolove, try to grow it organically and try to engage with the audience and build a platform instead of just building ourselves a nice big account with a lot of likes and follows, but really no depth into it. It's just like surface.
And I could just say it's been an interesting journey. I remember as it was yesterday, the first time I got over 100 likes on one post, and for last winter I think we have 13 million views in one video. So they like the marathon as you go, as Alex is speaking of, like we have like celebrated all the small steps where we have heading towards like where we are today then.
Yeah, and it feels much more rewarding as well to be able to do it organically and to reap the rewards, I suppose. But we're gonna set one thing straight, and this has to do with the title of this webinar. We're saying social media psychology, what the algorithms will never understand. And if we're gonna be honest here, the algorithms understand almost everything, especially in 2022. And as we go on every month, the algorithms get smarter. And obviously Facebook is behind this, and there's a reason why they put a lot of money in buying Instagram, in building these algorithms the best way they can be to engage with the right kind of, just make it the platform as user-friendly as possible. However, just because the algorithms are very good, that is only half the job. Understanding algorithms and how they work, in our experience, is just half the journey, because it's not just about algorithms. It's also about the way you engage with your audience, something that I've been already saying a little bit, but let me see.
In the same way, like you can never exchange the experience your visitors have in your companies when they're visiting you. You can never exchange that with digital communication. In the same way, you can never exchange, like the algorithm can never change it, like genuine storytelling. It comes from a heart.
Yeah, and we explained it in this one little sentence here, that understanding algorithms is just as important as the power of good storytelling and connection with your audience. So we should stop looking for boosting numbers and trying to get the biggest following possible, and try to instead focus on being social on social media, right? Something that we're going to also pick up a little bit later in the presentation. I wrote a nice quote here, and same way as a good customer interaction can never be replaced by good communication. So when we look at social media, we should always think of it a little bit as how we interact with people in real life. And that is one of the key things that we learned. If you try to take the key parts of how we interact with humans, especially businesses and humans, and try to transfer that to social media, a lot of people succeed that way. And we will look at some real life examples of some companies that we work with that have done this. So the goal, I just explained it, transfer the good customer interactions over to social media. You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, like what Alex was starting also, but we can like try to transfer the normal conversation. So so social media is a social media, so that's really important to remember. So So in the same way, if we are speaking with people and the other one don't answer us, that would not be a good conversation.
No.
And that's important to remember when we are on social media too, that it's a two-way communication. We'll come back more to that later.
So yeah, so in one way, and this Magnus said it very beautifully to me a couple of days ago, but when we thought about a title, the sentence that we based the title on was that the algorithm will never understand when a person talks to someone's heart and not the brain. So again, all in a circle here, explaining our goal with this webinar, how people should look at social media and how to use it. Let's see. So we're gonna take Tromsolove as our example. For the first part, and I know that a lot of people watching today, or some of them, are business owners. Tromsolove is a brand that doesn't sell anything. And that is partially the reason for its success. And the reason why it grew so large is that we never push content to sell something. We're not trying to sell merch. We're not trying to sell anything as of now. And we noticed that when we have ad spots with companies that want to run ads on our account, Tromsolove, they get very little engagement. And you will say, well, any ad gets little engagement, right? Because the algorithm knows that you are posting a specific type of content, and that is not the Tromsolove content, posting ads. But still, people are not interested in seeing an buy item on their feed if they already subscribe to you for a specific reason. And Tromsolove is a platform that, and we didn't go into it at the start, but it's a platform that posts pictures of Tromso, nature, landscapes, events, people, and things to do around. And our main audience, about 80% of it, if I'm not mistaken, are tourists. It's not Norwegian people, but it's people that are from outside of Norway, and they want to come to Norway, and they want to visit us. They want to visit Tromso and see the northern lights and the reindeer.
And I just want to say, before I remember, when you're speaking about like Tromsolove is not selling anything, and of course your businesses are selling things, but still, it's important to remember that it's not sure that like we see too often that companies are trying to sell things in their Instagram feed, and in general, people are not there to buy.
Yeah.
So even though you are selling things, you don't have to try to sell things on Instagram. 9 on 10, yeah.
We're gonna go into that as well.
Yeah,
jump in the line. But yeah, so Tromsolove is this basically community of people, like we said, outside people, tourists, people from Tromso, and photographers. A lot of photographers that take pictures of landscapes, and they tag us in, and they want us to repost, or they just want to share a nice picture of Tromso. And we have become, as of late, the #1 platform in Tromso, I think. I think no one else can compare with us besides Visit Tromso, which is a little bit smaller. And in Northern Norway, I think we're the second biggest one after an account called Northern Norway, obviously. And I want to talk a little bit about this photographer ecosystem that we have with Tromsolove. At the start, when Tromsolove started, obviously we had to run the content. You have to start from somewhere. You can't just get people to do it for you for free, like we have it now today. But you need to have not a team, but you need to have the desire to make new content, fresh content in terms of photos, in our case. And eventually you're building yourself a platform where people want to share their own photos. We're talking about amateur photographers and just everyday people that live here in the city that have a phone. They can go outside, they take a photo, they tag #Tromsolove, and they're sharing a nice moment with us. And we're very lucky and blessed to have been able to build this content, this platform right now where we don't have to really create anything. We don't have to spend money on making photos or making our content creators take photos, which we still do from time to time. But people can just take photos, post them on Instagram, tag us in, and we're going to repost if we think it's something nice. Obviously writing a nice caption to it as well, tell a story with a photo. And we found that that has been our key to success, at least one of them. It's a very nice way to engage with your audience because your audience appears on your platform. So it becomes a part of the family, right? The community, the circle. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that. And that's what I was just saying earlier, from creating content to generating content. At one point, you will, and I'm thinking now as a business, tourist business as well, you will get to one point where you're gonna have customers that have come to you maybe a couple months ago, post photos while they've been visiting your business, or after they've been there for a couple months, just reminiscing over the good memories they had and the good experience they had visiting you. And this is sort of where you as a business can do the same thing that Tromsolove did and try to engage with your customers even after they've been visiting you and reposting their content and reposting their story. Yeah, it's just a very nice way to interact with them, but we're going to get into this interaction from a business perspective later on. We will talk about repost as well by the end. We will take this in a Q&A. The second key thing for Tromsolove has been what we call the right now content. So if you take a photo and you wait a couple weeks and then you post it of a nice sunset and you post it during, I don't know, midday, it doesn't, in our experience, people don't really interact with it as much. What we learned with Tromsolove is that people love to see content right now. People that are outside of Norway, when they go to our Instagram, they want to see what does Tromsø look right now. And is there a northern light? If there is, we're going to have one of our people go in and take a photo of it and post it as soon as possible. Or we're going to find people that have already made a northern light picture from that session, and we're going to repost it. But the idea is to have this fresh content, in the moment content, almost like a newspaper. And like that, people can, we had a nice example here. We had very stormy January, the start of January. And you'd think that storm photos wouldn't do that good. But we went outside and we took photos of the storm. We went out and we took just raw photos of how the city was, the wind and the people. And it got very much interaction because people want to see Tromsø from all perspectives, not just the beauty, not just the sunsets, the nice northern lights, the sunny days and everything. We want it raw.
And this is connected also to the last topic Alex was talking about and what Petra also asked about now regarding a repost. So when we have like a flow of content coming in, it's easier for us also, of course, to have right now content because it's always coming in and with something special happening. For example, he mentioned the storm or the northern lights. So if I see the northern lights, it's outside. I can go to the hashtag Tromsolove and I see the freshest content, and there's always photos coming in like now the northern lights is so this is an example of a colleague of us, David. He posts this like Tromsø right now. And to Petra's question, like the technical way of doing a repost, that is a print screen, like the signal that we have is allowed to use it. Some cases we ask. But in general, if they use the hashtag Tromsolove or tag us directly in the photo, then we have the signal that we can use. They want us to use their photo. And then we print screen their phone, crop it out, and publish it. And of course, credit the photographer. And then, as Alex said, write a story to the photo. And also, like, this is, yeah.
The story part is also very important, which we're going to come back to. Say this a lot now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when it comes to reposting, a screenshot works. If you really care about the quality of the repost, there are apps. Now I cannot come with one specific one on the App Store or Google Play, but there are apps.
You can just search for repost app.
Yeah, and they give you just about the same quality. In our experience, just screenshotting a photo is enough. So yeah, right now content. And we're just gonna start to sum everything up and answer the question why is
guys, we cannot hear you. You are muted in some reason. Could you open the microphone? If you can hear me, so you have a microphone button on the bottom of the screen, because now we can see that the microphone is muted, so you just can unmute it. Yes, okay. Yeah, we will wait. Petra, so Alex and Magnus just have answer to your question. Did you understand? Do you have any clarifying question? So they told that they are like make a screenshot and crop. Okay, you will need a technical practice. It depends. I believe that even taking a screenshot, it depends on the mobile phone model. But we can ask them. Okay, I believe they are now left and they are going to join us later. I mean, soon. We might have to, yeah. So we can ask them to show how to make it technically. But as I mentioned, it might be also depends on your mobile phone. If you know how to make a screenshot, then I believe there will not be any problem. Yes, these technical issues still can be.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hello, guys.
Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, now we
Yeah.
can hear.
So Siri decided to take over the microphone here. That was unfortunate. We apologize. Right. So why Tromsolove has succeeded? So it has to do with just the points we made earlier. We're not selling a product. It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone that sells a product won't succeed. It just depends the way you are selling your product on social media. And we're going to touch upon this again a little bit later on in the part 2. And including natural people, this is something we haven't really talked about, but like you see in the photos, in the third one in there, we are trying to, we have a lot of landscape photos and we have a lot of pretty photos of the nature. We also love to include photos of people, and we want the people in our photos to be natural, like a natural setting. We want it to be real. So if you were a tourist coming to Tromsø, this is how you would see them. We don't want them to be staged. We don't want them to pose or anything. We want them to be as real as possible. And I think at this point in the presentation, we can take a couple questions, if there are any. Technical practicing.
Yeah, while we were waiting for you guys, I was talking with Petra how it can be possible. Yeah, about like technical practicing, how you are making the post.
You basically, like we said, you screenshot it and you post it as a normal post on Instagram. But there's a couple important things to remember, and that is to tag the original creator. A lot of the times you should be careful when it comes to reposting. There is already the content that you might want to repost is reposted by someone else. So then you have to do a little bit of digging and try to get to the original creator of the content. It doesn't happen too often, but it's good to be on the safe side.
Yeah. For one time we get a bill 6,000 Norwegian kroner,
Yeah.
600 euros, then I thought we had control of the, as you said, like the original creator of the content. So, but then we learned. So it's but that's really important. So, and as I said, now at the moment, now we're getting like fresh content every day. So that's a gift, of course.
Yeah.
But we're hoping with this seminar that like we'll put your businesses in and put your situations where you can get content for your visitors, for example. So you will start the same journey, and I'm sure some of you have already started it.
Yeah, so it's from creating content to generating content, like we call it. Let me see if there was any other question besides reposting.
Are Petra happy with? Is it? Have we done a technical?
I'm just really explaining that it's. Let's see.
Yeah, Petra is typing. So
Yeah. Reposting, and also it's one thing to repost normal post, and then there are stories that when you repost them, usually you have to be tagged in them to have like just a repost button. If you're not tagged in them, but you really like to share the story, you can also screenshot it and share it as a story on your account, obviously with the permission of the creator.
Petra, maybe you cannot like make a screenshot if this like the issue, the challenge.
It depends on your phone model.
Yeah, if yes, then we can, for example, I can call you after the webinar and discuss with you, because I believe just posting and tagging somebody, it should not be. Yeah. So I believe posting and tagging somebody should not be the problem, but probably screenshot is the challenge for you. So let's talk about it after the webinar. I will call you. Okay.
Yeah.
And Mari is typing. By the way, there were no other question at this point. Okay, yeah, so Mari advised to use Repost app. Yeah. Okay, so we can continue.
Right. So like we say, if you guys have any questions while we're talking, just ask them and we'll come back to them later. And we will answer if there's anything. And now we're gonna take a little bit slower. We're gonna go into part 2. And now we're gonna talk, and we're gonna use the examples from Tromsolove, and we're gonna talk about your business and your social media accounts.
Can I fill you in? We spoke a little bit about why we chose to speak about Instagram in the beginning, and there were one thing we remember that forget, and that it's like a really popular platform, obviously, but also it's a really adaptive platform in that kind of way. When they are attacked by other apps, attached by other apps, they have always managed to get new services in their own app that will can compete against, for example, Snapchat with their with Instagram stories, or for example, TikTok with Instagram Reels, and so on.
From a business point of view, the reason you want Instagram, we already assume that you have Facebook for your business. And if not, it's very important that you have that already fixed. And Facebook and Instagram, since Facebook owns Instagram, they share this ad management program, basically. So when you have an ad running on Facebook from your business, it's very easy to run it through Instagram at the same time. Yeah, so that's basically one of the biggest benefits for a business point of view, to have Instagram. One of them.
And we wanted to focus. Of course, we can speak a lot about ads and stuff, but we wanted to focus this class on how you can like succeed on your social media game in an organic way. How you can like get this ecosystem Alex was speaking about. So yeah, like get without cost.
Yeah, the ads is like beyond this webinar's purpose, but we're just pointing it out that it's out there. It's important to know that. So the first step for you as a business, which we already assume that you have done, but it's always important to remind you, if you don't have an Instagram account already, just open one. I like to think of it as an investor like time in the market. You get better at investing the more time in the market you are. You get better at social media the more time on social media you have. So open account, try stuff out, feel comfortable failing and learning from your mistakes. An important note here that I wrote is business account. And that is an option you get to do when you open an account, or you can have a normal account transferred to a business account in the settings. And the reason that is important, beyond the actual main point that you are a business, right, is because you get access to Instagram Insights. And this will be your way of knowing what works and what doesn't. And the insights on Instagram are basically graphs and information that Instagram is giving you every time you post. How many people did your post reach organically? How many people have you reached in your following? How many people you reach through hashtags? How many people has interacted and engaged with your account? And when you know that and you see these graphs and you post different things and you try stuff out, that's when you find out what resonates with your following more and what doesn't. And it's obviously self-explanatory, but a lot of people forget about this. And it's always good to think basics first. Think very, very like first step, and then we can move forward. So that is the purpose of a business account. And now we're gonna finally start picking up on stuff that we mentioned in the first half. Social media, but are you social? And this has to do with how we communicate on social media. We mentioned at the start that we want you to, as a business, and the way you interact with your customers, we want you to bring that over to social media. We want to have a two-way communication between you and your audience. And that means that when people comment to your posts, very easy example, you're going to reply to them. And you're going to try to engage them into having a little conversation with you, even if it's in the comment section. A lot of these conversations usually happen in the DMs, but just be good at answering people, be good at noticing people that engage with your content, because that will make people want to come back and want to interact more with you.
And also when we interact, as Alex speak about, also use their names, for example, as we speak in face-to-face, as we spoke a little bit earlier. Use their names, like, hey Alex, thanks for reaching out, and so on. So like,
if it makes sense, if they have a name.
Yeah,
If they don't post their actual name, do not try to like say their nickname. That can be embarrassing. But yeah, I had an example here in my head, and this is from a time I used to work at the local print shop. And a lot of customers comes in with old pictures, and they would always want to tell me a story. So they would take their time and tell me a story behind the photo. And if you listen to the customer and their story and you want to engage with them, it just feels good to have this two-way communication, and that creates a connection between you and the customer. And that same connection can be also created on social media, especially with customers that you already have. So say you had a tourist come for a couple months ago and they are commenting on your post, interact with them, because they will come back, maybe, but more likely so if you have this communication. And this is what a lot of businesses don't do. And this is where you will succeed compared to them. A lot of businesses are doing the one-way communication where they talk to you, or they don't talk to you kind of personally. They talk to you just to the whole group. They don't interact with you on an individual level.
They expect us to listen to them, but they never listen to us in short terms. And I was speaking about earlier regarding like if you speak with people in normal interactions, like if nobody answers your questions or comment on what you're speaking about, after a while you're getting bored of speaking with this human being.
Yeah.
And the same is happening on social media. And that's also what we speak about the influencer, why they are so powerful at Instagram and social media, because they are having constantly conversations with their audience.
Yeah.
And they know they ask, for example, they ask them, hey, my friends, do you have some tips for TV shows for me? And after they get a lot of tips from random people or their followers. And after they like highlight, this was, they make a list and publish list. This was some of the tips I get. Thank you so much. So they respond. And it is a constantly communication with their audience. And because of that, regarding like, back to the algorithm, that the algorithm knows that, that specific influencer published something. They know that Magnus, he likes to speak with this person, and
we'll push more content towards them.
Yeah, and I will get it on a high level in my feed.
So this is also a very important thing that Magnus said here. For algorithm's sake, it is important that you interact with these people, because if the algorithm understands that you interact with a special kind of person, remember, every account on Instagram is grouped. It has many tags on it, invisible tags that you cannot see, but it's groups that the algorithm puts you in. So once you interact with one person, the algorithm will try to push similar people, friends of that person, to see your content. And that is very small things that make a difference in the long term. Like we said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Some of you may wonder now, especially when you just started an Instagram account or your business is not big, doesn't matter the size. What happens when you don't get interaction, when people don't comment to your things? Because obviously when you start, no one is just going to stumble by and start throwing a lot of messages at you and stuff. And the important thing to understand here is you have to initiate that communication. You have to go to your customers' accounts, and a lot of the times they will post about their experience, their vacation, if they're a tourist. I'm assuming right now we're talking about a tourist company. They're going to post about their experience, and it's nice of you to kind of follow up. Don't stalk, don't make it creepy, but follow up to their accounts and leave a comment. Just say, yeah, it was nice having you, good time and everything. So try to create that and start the conversation if the conversation doesn't come to you. Interact with people's accounts. The algorithm likes for you to be active. So don't expect to get something if you don't do anything.
What Alex is speaking about now can be compared to speaking about people you don't know at the bus.
Basically.
For example, so if you don't start, if you're sitting towards a human being at the bus, and if you don't start the conversation, you will neither have a conversation. But if you say, hey, who are you? You have the beginning of a conversation. So what he's speaking, I don't know if you can see the captions on this example post, but this is an example of precisely what Alex is speaking about. How can we try to start a communication with our captions? Be aware of that we want to interact.
Yeah. And another thing you should interact with beyond your customers is local partners. People are running similar business as you. You're trying to create, again, like we're calling with Tromsolove, a platform. You have to interact with people that are doing things like you, people that are in the same Instagram groups, tags, the invisible ones. So interacting is the first step at succeeding. And with Tromsolove, we have interacted a lot with other accounts. And this is how you get that traction. And yeah, anything add to that?
And yeah, and back to the algorithms, in short terms, we can sum up the algorithm, how it works. It's about how much time the audience use in your profile, with your profile.
Yeah.
So easy as that. So if you're sitting there having chats with your audience, they will for sure have your content also up in their feed.
And answer people in their private messages as well. That's very important. Just do everything. That is on the list.
But this is super. This, of course, the quality content, good storytelling. But this, to remember, is really important for us that you remember, guys, that we call it social media. But are you social?
Yeah.
Do you have a one-way communication, or do you have a really true two-way kind of communication? And that's a key sentence for today that we really want you to remember.
We can go more in depth into this. And now we're going to talk a little about genuine communication. How often do you go on big accounts that get a lot of engagement, a lot of likes and comments, and you go through the comments, and often you just see very generic comments like cool post or nice, or it's just a comment that doesn't really has no meaning to it beyond just trying to be there. And this is the kind of communication that, even though it doesn't add anything, it doesn't start a conversation, it kind of is just enough to make the algorithm work for these people. So you don't need to fall, you should avoid falling into the trap of just talking to people for the sake of talking to people and trying to please the algorithm. You need to talk to people for the sake of building a connection between you and your audience. And that means when you write a comment to someone's post, it has to be a genuine comment. It has to be like something that you would say to them in real life. It has to be connected to their content and their post, their photo, connected to the caption that they write. It just has to be connected so to start a conversation. If you do this one-word comments just for the sake of pleasing the algorithm, you will succeed in gaining engagement, but you will not succeed in the actual important part of building this platform.
On the relationship with the audience.
And people can tell. People very, very easily can tell genuine communication from fake communication. It's very easy to see it. And when people start seeing that, they will kind of want to keep away from you because they know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, the audience on a global basis have like developed a so-called bullshit filter. So we scan without thinking about it. So we scan the feed, and if there's something we don't communicate this in a genuine way, we will just scroll further and don't use time on that post. And also, as you can see, the examples we have made here, it's varied examples and like about being genuine and also being relevant. A little bit of what Alex was speaking about before the break. So for example, I like the example in the middle when 1 year has passed and the Arctic Cathedral was covered in the colors of France. Like, see, in this kind of way, like we try to see the world from our perspective. And I think it's a really good example of being relevant, being genuine, and so on. And also the example to the left, we have like a key, like it's, we are not sunshine riders, says Julian and Theodore. Go hard or go home. So like, then we also have name dropped their names. Of course, not their last names, but still their names. And that makes it more so
genuine. Yeah. I mean, you can tell the Magnus's news career, writing career dropping into a little bit.
Yeah.
The interview career. There you go.
Now we know that they're like they go from being poster boys in this video to be actual people. Like it's Julian and Theodore, and that's a big difference.
And I wanted to speak a little bit about content as well when it comes to genuine content. And we talked a little bit earlier about posting right now content. Genuine content means posting things as they are. Obviously, we love nice pictures, but the reality beyond the nice picture is that there's someone that sat there and edited it and made it perfect. Took all the small imperfections and just made it the best it can be, like eye candy. And that is fine. It's good to have, we call this high-end content. But in our experience with Tromsolove, and we have over 133,000 followers, a lot of the times people interact more with content that isn't high-end. People are used to seeing high-end every day in commercials and news and products. It's nice to get a little break from that, and in being genuine, also showing things as they are. We have an example. I didn't include it in the presentation here, but one of our most watched videos, reel on Instagram, is a video taken outside of our office in the winter with a phone. How many views did it have?
13 millions.
13 million views on a video that we took with our phone outside offices of just snow coming into Tromso. Try to compare that to multi-thousand, I'll say dollars now, multi-thousand euro productions of like people, professional teams filming something. They do not get the same engagement because people relate more to things that they can do themselves. And this is something very important for Tromsolove in our example. We don't want to always post things that people wouldn't be able to post themselves. Obviously, when it comes to northern lights, you need a good camera. Nowadays, you can take a photo of a northern light with a phone camera, and you will get very similar results.
And yeah, when you're speaking about like if you see it's obviously from a phone camera, you can also make a point of it. Like that this when we're speaking about being genuine, like this was shot by a phone, and you can also say which kind of phone it was shot by. 5 minutes ago. Then we have like the right now content, the genuine content. We connect with the audience, and he is making a really good point now because this is an opportunity for you guys. Like I want you to know that like the old way of thinking campaigns where you hire people like us to produce video, professional videos, and so on, that's over. Now, social media communication and marketing is a marathon going every day, always on. Yeah. And that then we need to start to think, how can we do it in our businesses?
Yeah, so you have to think of your own possibilities, what you can afford economically. And you will, and this is a spoiler, but you will succeed. If you are interested in succeeding in social media, time on social media, time on the platform, always being consistent. Another very important thing, consistency. We on Tromsolove try to post once a day, and we have the capacity for that. And not a lot of people can do that. We have people posting 50 pictures that we can share basically every day, 50 new fresh pictures that we don't take ourselves. So in that case, we are blessed that we have the content. What you should try with Instagram is to be consistent. Be consistent with your posts, be consistent with your stories. I know it's good to have at least one story a day, and it doesn't have to be anything very special, but it has to be, again, a genuine story of your business day to day. What are you doing? And try to, again, ask a little question in there because you cannot text the stories, and try to like make it engaging. Right. So we went for that. Now, the third key thing of this presentation is hashtags. And hashtags has always been there. I will be honest with you, I think for the past couple of years, they weren't just as effective as they are today. Like hashtags today are important for you to succeed. And the most important part is to build your own. When you start up, and we're going to bring some examples here of our customers. You can see them also in our images here. We have Pust, which is a local sauna company here in Tromso. They have a sauna by the pier. We have Aventyr, which is a tourist company a bit higher up in the north. And then we have us. Building your hashtag is one way to build an empire. Tromsolove has a hashtag that has over 500,000 posts to this day. And that is one of the reasons why we succeed. Try to collect my thoughts here a little bit. It's very early in the morning. When you start, you should use hashtags in order to get the engagement. In order to get your account seen on Instagram, you have to use, I think you can have up to 30 hashtags. And the strategy here, I don't want to go too deeply into it because that's not the purpose of this presentation, but you should know that you have to post both hashtags that are big and small. The way you differentiate that is by going on a very specific hashtag on Instagram and seeing how many posts it has. When a hashtag has 100,000 posts, that means 100,000 posts have been posted with that hashtag on. That is considered a small hashtag. And then you have the ones that have 90 million posts. And they're very generic, like hashtag sunset and hashtag winter, hashtag mountain, and so on and so forth. Your strategy at the beginning is to build a list of hashtags, both small and big. And you want to try to have a nice balance there. And the reason you want to do that is because once you get enough likes, enough engagement on your account, you will be able to trend on these hashtags. And trending is basically, if you go to one hashtag and you press on it, you get the main page, which is the top 100 posts of that hashtag. And then you have the recent ones, and that is the most recent posts using those hashtags. This can get a little bit complicated. So if you have any questions about this, we can take them in the Q&A. When you start and you have these small hashtags in your list, the algorithm will basically, if you get enough engagement, obviously, and this is to get enough engagement, you have to do what we talked about, genuine communication, interaction, and so on and so forth. The algorithm is going to start pushing your content on these trending pages of these hashtags. So your post with a small hashtag will go on this top 100 posts. And a lot of people like to follow this. Instagram allows you to follow hashtags now. So when you go to your feed, you can see the posts from your followers, and then you can see the posts from that specific hashtag. And you usually see the top 100. Once your post makes it to top 100, this is something we do in Tromsolove, that's when we see a boost in interaction. That's when other people that follow that hashtag see your content. They see your post pop in the list. If you look in the third picture on this slide, it's in Norwegian, but it kind of is the same point. That is the Tromsolove hashtag. And it shows you the most popular posts. And if you have a very well engaged post with a hashtag, that post can be there for a couple months. So your post will just keep getting more and more and more and more interactions throughout time without even thinking about it. But building your own hashtag is where the key to success is. And Tromsolove, in our example here, you want to have a hashtag of your business. But it doesn't have to be the name of your business. It has to be a hashtag that you have to think as a consumer here. You want to be able to use it naturally. In our example here, Pust Lifestyle. Their actual company name is Pust, just Pust. It means breathe from Norwegian. But the hashtag says Pust Lifestyle. And a lot of people that go to the sauna, and we see this every morning on their stories, they go to the sauna, they take a photo, and they write hashtag Pust Lifestyle, a nice way to start our morning. They build basically that content generating thing, just like Tromsolove. The Tromsolove hashtag is our content generator, is where people post stuff, become a part of our community, and we can repost their things. Your goal here is that you build a name, a hashtag that your customers can use, and that you can grow with time.
And this is a big opportunity for you guys, because I'm sure you have beautiful locations and places to visit. And as I said earlier, like, photographers often attracted to these places, and they want to share their moments. They're also often talented photographers, and they want to share their moments. So in these scenarios, we need to make it easy and understandable how they are going to share their experience. Like, so it's obviously with what kind of hashtag they are supposed to use. And as Alex is speaking about, like, we need to find a hashtag that also is makes it be natural to use for the users. So in the Pust scenario, Pust Lifestyle is something that the humans that go to Pust and having a morning bath every day can relate to. It's starting to be a community. It's about the Pust lifestyle. Some guys, they have yoga sessions inside. Sometimes they have meditations. They have a cafe. So after a while, they're building a whole ecosystem and a lot of businesses around this hashtag. basically.
Yeah.
And we also had another example here. We rebranded a tourist company in Alta based in Finnmark, and we called it Eventyr, which is Norwegian for adventure, fairy tale. Instead of having the hashtag Eventyr, we developed the hashtag We Love Fairy Tales, like, which is a more natural thing to add after if I'm a visitor and I'm visiting Alta for the first time and I'm on a dog sledding, for example, it's a more natural thing to use We Love Fairy Tales on the photo, or instead of having
the company business, the company name.
But it's still related to the name of the company. It's close related.
Yeah.
In the same case as Pust Lifestyle. So and this is a big opportunity for you. So for example, Eventyr, take their example. They have a lot of hotels. They have a lot of restaurants, and also experiences. And they can. And when I'm speaking about how can we make it obvious what kind of hashtag we want the visitors, the guests, to use, they can use like in print formats, they can find things in receptions where you have information. You can write hashtag We Love Fairy Tales. It can also be in information. Use add your share your moments at We Love Fairy Tales, and you can win a gift card and blah blah blah. It's just plenty of ways of doing this, and this is like something a key point of this lesson with you today, because of if you make it easy, understandable, and obviously, and also funny, then we have started the interaction. So then we can like starting this really important thing that we generating content, as Alex has spoken a lot of today.
It's very interesting now. I just noticed a pattern here, but we really love to use the word love in our hashtags.
Yeah.
So here you go, guys. If you want something to work, don't copy us. But yeah, so hashtags, building your empire, they help you get discovered on Instagram. It's a very important tool to have in your tool set, and it's a way to build your identity. And speaking about identity, if you just started a hashtag, the first thing you want to do, obviously, is to include it as often as you can in your posts, or every time in your post. Like we write the caption to our post, and then we write hashtag Tromsolove. You have to go a step deeper, because we already have established this identity for ourselves. You need to make sure that write it in your bio on Facebook and Instagram. Share your posts, hashtag your hashtag. Make small little prints in your hotels or restaurants or cafes or whatever your business is, and encourage people to use this.
It can also be on clothing, for example, if you have team clothing and everything. It's about up to you. It's about creativity, but like defining your own hashtag. And as Alex been saying, this is our hashtag. Now we're going up to a marathon. Yeah. Let's do this, and like be confident on your hashtag and be consistent. And then we and then you need to start one place.
So that's another place you're going to start seeing. We were talking about insights on Instagram that show you how people interact with you. Now you're going to be able to see your hashtag and how many posts people have posted using it. And that's another thing to gauge how well you are doing on social media.
And one of the most efficient ways of getting the hashtag started to use is to repost the first one, like the actual people that using it.
Yeah.
So other people that are in your profile, they see, okay, they have reposted the photo from him, and so on. So they started to see a routine, and then you have like the drill ongoing.
Yeah. So we'll continue now to one of the last tools on Instagram, but one of the freshest ones actually, because you could write captions since forever, since Instagram came out. But one thing that we learned recently, the way the algorithm works, and it's like we say, it's important to understand how it works in order to succeed. That's like half the job. But captions start to almost act like hashtags, but invisible ones. So when we say you have to write a story in your captions when you post something, keywords from your story will be used by the algorithm to push your content towards new audiences. And this is something very fresh, at least as far as we are concerned. But this is a very nice trick. And when you combine it with writing these nice stories, we see a lot of companies just posting a photo, no caption. And that is bad. In the least, you can have at least something written down. And then the next level, you have a little sentence or 2 words. But you have to think beyond that. You can give your post a title, which a lot of people love to do with photos and artworks, obviously. But you need to have that little story written to it.
Information and
Both to engage with your audience, both to tell a story, storytelling, and to use the algorithm to the biggest capacity.
I can show you a recent example, which is a really nice photo of a reindeer, actually. And I was waiting for my Airbnb guest, had some spare time, and just wanted to push some content because I was bored. And I didn't have like the heart. We were speaking about before the break about having the heart when we communicate. I just wanted to push some content because I was bored. And the caption was "watching you," #Tromsolove, and photo by Frederick. And I like the photo was really nice. I was surprised by the engagement. It was so low. I was thinking this will like blow up quite good. But instead of that, was falling. The engagement was really low, and I was speaking with Alex about it, and then he told me about this new thing about the invincible hashtags in the captions. And of course, it was so natural that so I haven't mentioned reindeer, for example, which is the main word to mention when you have a photo of reindeer. I haven't went winter, Troms, Arctic, and so on. There are a lot of keywords that I could mention that will get this post more relevant for the audience. So I will basically find the people that actually cares about reindeers.
Yeah. So just putting the tools to full work. I saw there's a couple questions, and we'll answer them in the next Q&A when we're done with this section. But it's very good questions you have there.
And in another way, example before we go through on the Sunday when the sun returns, we have like basically a more like quality wise not so good photo as the reindeer, but the engagements was much better. And the reason is, of course, where Alex speaking about the relevance, the genuine storytelling, and it's a longer captions about the Sunday, how it affects the mood, and so on. So it's like it's 2 big contrasts in our same profile.
One thing that we were been talking about was likes, and we as humans, we're set in such a weird way that we depend on them. If anyone here has private social media accounts, you know how it feels when you post something and it gets a lot of likes, and then you post something else and it gets half, if even less than that. We think that is a wrong way to that first of all, that shouldn't even be the way to gauge your success on social media. Likes is not the most important thing for you at the start. For you at the start, it's important to get the comments, people saving your stuff. There's obviously a bookmark button next to every post, and when you have a business account, you can see how many people have saved it, your post. You have DMs. This is your important numbers to calculate your success. It's not always about likes. Likes will come eventually. What you have to think first and foremost are these key numbers in the comments, in interactions, the comments that you write to other people. Even though they don't show your number, that is still very important. So that is, I think, all we had to really say about captions. I know there's some questions there that I'm going to come back to. Let's see.
And regarding the captions also, like it's nothing that is right or wrong in caption. Like Alex mentioned, learning by failing, and that's a really important principles also about the captions. Be playful. Don't be afraid of testing new things, testing new way of communicate, answer questions. If nobody answers, don't be ashamed. Like it's allowed to learn and fail and experience and we have experienced so much at Tromsolove you couldn't imagine. And sometimes I feel like what's the word? Scientist.
I love that. Petra had a very good question here, not a question, but a short caption. And I will do it now just because there will be no more posts later, I think. If you look in the middle here, and this basically shows a good example of what a post should look like, more or less. We have the post, we have the caption here. It says the scenery of Finnmark is magnificent and impressive. Join us on a snowmobile adventure through the Arctic landscape. There's a couple of things they've done here, and this has to do a bit with the psychology of how to interact with people. We talk about how you should talk to your audience. The very easiest thing to do is to ask questions. If people look at your post and it's just a nice story, that's fair enough. They will probably comment that it's a nice story. If you write a little story and you write a little question at the end, something to engage them, you have to think, how do I make people talk? How do I make people interact with my content? In here, they didn't ask a question, but they say, join us on a snowmobile adventure through the Arctic landscape. And then you will have people commenting that, okay, I am looking forward to this, looking forward to booking a trip to Norway, or so on and so forth. That is the kind of interaction you're looking to get as a business. Otherwise, you can ask questions. Just look at Tromsolove for more examples, because we often do ask people questions in our posts.
But also we had a meeting this week actually, where we discussed that we need to be more genuine in our comments. Like sometimes we know how, but in everyday routine we take the easy ways out sometimes. But now we had a meeting on Monday where we discussed how we can increase our engagement, and that's the sum up also at the same sum up to you. Be more genuine. So I will show you another example, Petra.
Well, you have it, okay.
Yeah, and the first example here was like Finnmarksvidda. Alex was speaking about the keywords, that the invincible hashtags. So Finnmarksvidda is an important word, and also snowmobile adventure, which is the actual product.
Arctic landscape.
And the Arctic landscape, which is also the people are interested in. So there is it's a good example. I will give you another example, which is a little bit more longer. This was the photo from the Sunday.
We have it here in the presentation. Just give me a little moment.
Today we celebrate
the last photo here, the third picture.
Yeah, today we celebrate that the sun is back in Troms. As you can see, it affects the mood on both 2- and 4-legged friends. We have already reflected on how beautiful it is to walk in the northern part of the city. Today we understood why. Most often we go to south, towards the sun, the light, and the future. Happy weekend. Feel free to share these special rays of sun.
So the caption is there. It just, the screenshot does not show it, the whole text. But another thing that was also important there, and you saw how they use hashtags. And this is what you were going to try to strive for. First, they have their own hashtag, the identity hashtag that we've been talking about. We love fairy tales. And then they have relevant hashtags, both small and big, to try and push this post onto multiple platforms inside Instagram to people that follow those hashtags. Yes, I will get to all these questions very soon. We are closing into the second Q&A. That's a very good question, Marie. Okay, let me not spoil everything here. Right, towards the end, we will try to basically sum everything up here into one main idea. Tell or sell. We mentioned that Tromsolove is not a business in the sense that it doesn't sell any products. But we showed you also examples of companies that sell products, but they don't post pictures of them selling something. They don't post pictures of them, a catalog
or the price.
Or the price. You see none of that. And you just see people and their experiences with those businesses. And we can go back to the start of this webinar where we asked you to write 3 things that you do on social media.
And if people have something more to share, feel free to share it in the comment field about the 3 things.
Yeah, but the point of this experiment that we did was that none of you, as far as I could see at least, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but very few of you or none of you at all have wrote that you are trying to buy something. That is not to say that people do not buy stuff from Instagram, but when you go to Instagram, you do not go there to a shop. You do not go there to shop, to a list, to see through stuff, buy clothes, to if you see someone that's posting something nice, a clothes that they bought that they recommend, you might be interested. But the primary focus here is you're not going in there to buy anything. And this is why a lot of people don't succeed, businesses don't succeed. The whole content is a one-way communication where they're trying to sell you whatever products they have. They're putting price, they're putting everything, the listings. That is not the way to succeed.
You
And
misunderstand the identity or the DNA of the platform.
Exactly. And now you might question, but okay, but we are a business, we have to make money. How do we make money if we're not selling anything? You have the bio, which is very important, where you can post link to your website or link to whatever event you have. But the important thing is, if you're selling something, people will find out about it. If people are interested in buying something, they will find out about it. And like Magnus made a good point, 9 out of 10 buy processes always start on Google, more or less. It's going to be on a browser. They're going to find your website if you have any. If they want to buy a product, they will find you. Your job on social media is to build, like we said for 100 times this webinar, to build this platform, this community, this connection with your audience. You're not there to sell them a product. They will come to the point where they were going to buy it anyway.
You had to tell them the story. We do these experiments every time we have classes, and I experienced once that one of the participants wrote to buy something. I had like over hundreds of people never heard the word, but I'm on social media to buy something, and that in that kind of way, it's quite ironic that there are so many businesses trying to sell something.
And don't get me wrong, it's good to advertise for an event that's happening or something something that has to do with people, but you have to do it in a smart way. Do not make it sound like you're trying to sell them something in their face.
Yeah, this is I don't know if anybody heard about Gary Vaynerchuk. He have written a book that's called Right Hook Theory or something. Sure. It's job and then hook, and it's like his main point of this theory, like he just provide with good content and good storytelling, and then when he asks for like, do you want to come to my event, do you want to come to visit, it's much easier to say yes when you normally not expect anything from your audience, and you just give and give and give. And when then you ask, it's easier because you have made this close relationship with your audience, even though you never met them.
And if you don't trust us or you don't believe us on this, then try and work on building and using all the tips that we gave today. Build yourself an Instagram account. If you already have one, just keep going and building it. And then at one point, try, for the sake of trying, and just post something about a product that you have, or try to sell a product you have throughout the post. And you will see through the insights and the engagement on the post, not as many people will be interested. There's going to be a dissonance between everything you posted so far and the whole work that you put in to create this engaging platform. And then you will see the post doing very poorly.
And then back to the goddamn algorithms. Like, if you have poorly posts in a row, your algorithms will be destroyed. After a while, Instagram, they're like, no, it's really important that we not show the audience content from this profile, because Instagram wants the users to be as long as possible inside their app. They are competing to Snapchat, to TikTok, for example, but they want to keep their audience in general inside their app as long as possible. And because of that, they will always show the most relevant and genius things to the users.
And if you want to pitch a product that you're selling, do it, like I said, in a smart way. I'll give you an example. Make a normal post as the same post as you would post anyway, one that works. And then in the story bit, in the caption bit, you can basically tell a story and build them up towards, okay, we are selling one product. Can you check this out? Yeah. So that was all I had to say about the captions and tell ourselves. And we're going to go a little bit into questions now.
Yeah.
How big the text and the caption should be. If the question is how long the text should be, a lot of people say that you have to have short text because Instagram loves shorter formats. In our opinion, it doesn't matter. Just if you have a good story to tell, take your time and take as many words as you need and tell the story. Because people that are interested and people that you engage with, they will read it no matter what. If the language,
it's you can also vary it.
You can test.
Yeah, you can test. Although it's sometimes shorter are really fine, and other times when you want to explain something, as we showed the example from the photo of Art Cathedral in the France colors, like it an explanation is great. So it's both yes and no.
If I think the language use matters, it depends again on your audience. I would say use your own language to begin with if you are only trying to cater towards your local business and the local people. If you have tourists from abroad, then it goes without saying that you need to have English in there as well, or whatever language is the most used for that area. So to be on the safe side of things, you can use English and then copy paste the same text under it in your own language. If you think that will help other people to understand the text. We do not do that. No. We only use English because we experience that the people here in Tromsø, they don't need us to translate it to them.
And we also feel that Tromsø people likes that because it feels international vibe over it.
Yeah, but we're assuming that obviously. But if in your case it's different, then just use whatever two languages that you see fit. But you need to have the one international language that more than just your local audience can understand. We have shown captions. Time frame is a very good question. Is there a time frame of engagement after posting that affects the reach on Instagram? And here's where we're going to combine everything we learned so far. So first of all, when to post. I see if you do like a Google search, it will tell you that highest Instagram engagement on Wednesdays or Thursdays or Fridays at some specific time. First of all, those hours are for America, usually. Second of all, it doesn't really matter as a long-time strategy. Because short-term, yes, it matters when you post to get a little bit more engagement from your hashtags. But in the long term, it doesn't really matter. We can post on Tromsolove at 2 a.m. because we will still get a lot of engagement on that post. So don't think about timing. If you're in this for the long term, if you're trying to build yourself a platform of loyal followers that will engage with your content, time frame doesn't matter. Just post whenever you feel like. And when it comes to the effects, you obviously have the boost from the first hour, where a lot of your content is getting pushed. You have likes, you have comments. And afterwards, you reach a threshold of likes. And this is where it's very important to have those smaller hashtags. Your content is going to start trending on the smaller hashtags. And you get a second boost of engagement from newer audiences. So it comes in waves. And it's very important that you respond to comments as soon as they come in the first hour, and then come again a couple hours later and just constantly keep answering people and keep people in a conversation. And don't limit yourself to one answer. If you answer to a comment and they answer you back with a question, come back, answer them again.
And regarding the question to Marie, that it's we have a really fresh and relevant example of like in general. This algorithm is changing all the time, so we've experienced a lot of when is the best time on the day to publish the content. So I was actually when I have time, I will finish my master degrees in marketing, and I will actually research if the sun and the lightning affects which kind of specific time frame is the best to publish content on Instagram. So but now they say that early in the morning is a good time, really early in the morning, because then you have the whole day to get the engagement. Yeah. For example, in the middle of the night yesterday, David published, a friend of us, a colleague, he published a Northern Light photo in the middle of the night, and he would write, while most of the city is asleep, some lucky people stayed up to watch the show. And I really like that, because then again we show that we are relevant and right now content. So
that's what you should think about. Don't think about what is the best time to post something in order to get the highest engagement, because short term it doesn't matter. You have to think, like we said, right now content, relevant content. The content has to come as soon as the thing happens.
And of course, possible. And of course, this photo would have more engagement if it was published 2 hours before, but people still was woke. But the thing is, like, those that actually are awake, we connect with them in a total different way.
And you have to keep in mind this international bit. When you have to work with tourists, and a lot of the followers are tourists and people not local to you, the timelines are different. So when you post something in the morning, that's very good for your local followers. Maybe your international followers won't see it straight away, depending on the daytime, hours, so on and so forth. So it's a hassle to always think about it. So just try to follow the principle of we're posting as it happens. And this is how we succeeded.
Yeah, but when we're speaking about this, it's also really important to experience how people react on your publish, like how people engage in the publish. So use your, as you said, learning by failing. It's important to follow how people react.
That's a good question. We'll come back to that, Marie. What do you think about Instagram competition? If you mean competition as in cooperating with other Instagram accounts,
it means that we
to collab, or like us competing against similar businesses.
I think it just means that you can win something.
Oh yes, to win something. Yeah. So that is a nice way to sell an experience or one of your products. That is a nice way to let people know what you're selling without making it obvious that you're selling it. If that makes sense.
But not too often.
But not too often. So that is the key thing as well. To try to keep it very. If you're always releasing a competition every week, people will start to look.
It's the way of buying followers.
Yeah,
the same as the rich guy on school buying friends.
And I would personally, obviously, you guys do what fits you best, but I would stand a little bit aside from trying to get followers with this competition, because what we said earlier about short-term tactics, you will get more followers, but will they be loyal followers? And loyal followers is your end goal. You are trying to create a loyal community that will always interact with you, buy your products, visit you if it's tourist company that we're talking about. Build this loyalty. And this is something that you don't really get when you make all these competitions, in our experience. Chronological post or the newsfeed is back. I'm not sure if you mean that if the posts now come chronologically in your feed.
Yeah, that's back.
Yeah. I mean, in that case, the point still remains the same. You still have to post content as it comes, right now content. Because people will still scroll through on their newsfeed until they reach it anyway.
What we're actually speaking about now, Marie and the others, like, this is the DNA of Instagram. Why the reason they started the app for many years ago. It's about snapshots of the right moment, of the moment, with moment shots. So So if we plan too much, it's not in the nature, on the DNA of the app in itself. So our answer on this question is like trying to be as right now as possible.
Yeah. See, we have one more person typing.
There was about the translator button and the captions. I believe it's related to the previous question about the language.
I have not
It's
seen.
correct. It's we have like a translation button, so you can see it in your mother tongue also.
Especially on Facebook, because obviously when you post on Instagram and you have connected your Facebook page or account to your business account on Instagram, one post goes on both platforms, and on Facebook it automatically translates it to your mother language or your default language. So yeah, like we say, if you feel worried about it, just use two languages. As we established, do not stress about the size of the text, as long as you get through the idea or the story.
Have we any more questions?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is new question. Do you think that Instagram alone is enough to perform efficient marketing, or would you push other social medias as well?
We discussed this earlier today, and or earlier today, a couple days ago, about social media in general. Because obviously you have TikTok, and you have WhatsApp, and you have, which is not really social media, but you have Snapchat. You need to think of your customers first and foremost. If you run a business with a youthful audience, you should look into expanding on these platforms like TikTok, like Snapchat. If you do not have that need, then there is no necessity to spend time and money to try to operate on every platform possible.
No.
For a small business, it's all about being efficient. So focus. Instagram, the reason why we push it here is because it works on all age. How do we call it? It works for all ages, right? All target groups, even the elderly. Because of this connection with Facebook, it works with them as well. Because right now, well, the young people, we think that Facebook is mostly for the elderly, and even though there is a little bit of truth to that, you still, through Instagram, get access to both the young people, middle age, elderly, all in one platform.
Yeah, now today we focus on how you can build an empire, how you can like build the organic growth and in like a cost efficient way. But with Mikael's questions, that's of course depends on what exactly kind of businesses do you have. Do you have a local market? Do you have an international market? In general, I can say that a good presence on Instagram/Facebook combined with a good web page, with a good SEO for the Google search, and also fresh content there, like content marketing, articles about your experiences, and so on, will be a combination of these two factors is like the key, and then you are on a good way. Yeah, because we, as Alex mentioned, 9 of 10 buying process started at Google. So that's really important to have in mind if you're thinking sell. So in this kind of way, Instagram is a way to be top of mind. So when you go to Google and you search for, you want to go to experience Finnmarksvidda, for example, and you search for Finnmarksvidda, and then Aventyr comes up as an alternative. And then you will have seen some of the stories on Instagram. You have interacted with Aventyr on Instagram. Then, it's much easier to choose them as an alternative.
I started to talk about competition between accounts. I want to finish what I was saying. Yeah, what I was thinking there was there's a lot of competition, and I don't know if this is very important for businesses, really, but a lot of content creators love to create competitions where they all try to create some kind of content, and who can make like the best or we call them collabs. I don't want to go into it too much because it's not relevant for a business, but it's relevant for individuals. Actually, you know what? It is relevant for business. If you're running not a tourist business, but more of an graphic design photographer business. If you're running those kind of individual small businesses where you're alone and creating content, those are good being part of collabs, because then you get your name out there to audiences that would otherwise not known about you. So that's where you have to cooperate with like-minded accounts that also create our photographers, videographers, graphic designers, so on and so forth. So in that sense, yes. But we call that collaboration, not competition, really.
Yeah, I think you have a good conclusion. So competitions, yeah, I agree.
I hope that answered the question. I went a bit further, but yeah.
Marie is trying to say something.
And Tuomi Tule, if, for example, you would like more to discuss this question, just let us know. Yeah, the question from Marie. Can I read it? Because in the recording there will not be chat box visible, so I can read that people can
Of course.
hear what is the question. So Marie is asking, is cross-posting in Facebook, Instagram effective, or should you tailor-make posts specifically for each platform? What can be done to optimize the results on those two platforms?
If you are running your business on both platforms simultaneously, Facebook has this very nice thing called an ad manager. And this is what we use with our customers. So an ad manager on Facebook, first of all, it allows you to connect your Instagram account to your Facebook. And then you can make a post that runs simultaneously on both Facebook and Instagram. The obvious difference there is that Instagram kind of formats your photos to 4 or 5 standing, whatever. There's different formats there, right? Facebook doesn't format your photos. It allows you to post them as they are. So that's, I guess, the only difference when you post on both platforms is in the ad manager, you have to correct the images on Instagram so they're posted properly.
I will answer also on this question, because it's a really good question, and in many cases we take the easy way out, where we just cross-posting both the same post that we publish on Instagram, we publish it on Facebook too, and that's also in our Magi Media profile. But in general, I would say that I would use Facebook because of it's getting so much content on these platforms. So you're not going to be considered as spam. So in general, I would say that Facebook, I would focus on information, and Instagram, I would focus on inspiration, social inspiration. So that's the general answers, and then also a little bit about if we first publish something on Facebook, there was so you don't have, for example, you say you publish something every day on Instagram. That's probably too much on Facebook, because there are so much information on Facebook, and after a while the algorithm will take it down, so people will not see it either.
Yeah, so I suppose what I was trying to say is you can make it easy for yourself to have the same post go on both platforms. But what Magnus here made a good point. Keep the platforms and use them to their specific purposes. Use Instagram and cater the posts that you're going to make towards Instagram, and then use Facebook and cater the post that you're going to make to Facebook.
And make an example of when it's practical to have that connection, cross-posting in our National Day, for example. Then obviously the same post will work as good as it will be in Instagram on Facebook.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Another question from Ritva. How can I make use on Instagram of my ice ball videos show on TV Asahi?
I am not quite sure about the question.
Litva, what if I will invite you for the stage? Could you repeat your question? Just a minute. Yeah, you will give the invitation, so just accept it, and then you can speak to with Alex and Magnus directly, because I believe the question is confused.
I got an inquiry from Asahi TV or some other firm, and they showed my ice ball videos. They had seen them on YouTube, and that they had a quiz. Well, they showed anyway those twice, and I got paid. And how can I use the hashtags in that? That fact they showed it.
I understand the question.
Thank you.
It's not so much about the hashtag here. I think what you mean is how to show to the people that see your content outside of Instagram that it's your content, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is actually something that a lot of people struggle with on Instagram itself, where people can steal your content from Instagram and post it on their own account and not tag you, not give you the rights, not saying that it's your own content. In that case, you can include your tag into the video itself. This is what a lot of big pages do that post original content. They will have their username.
Alex, again, you are muted. Alex, we cannot hear you.
Well, I got paid anyway.
Okay.
It is just the how much audience there is, and I want to make use of it.
You mean you would like to know how much audience your video received?
Well,
No?
of course, but how to benefit from that?
Okay.
But thank you very much. I won't take more time.
Yes, thanks to you. But still, we need to wait. Again, there are some technical problems. By the way, Attila, are you still here, or you're also facing?
How can I get out of this?
Oh, okay. Just a minute.
We are sorry again.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, that was a close call.
It can happen.
Do not say the forbidden word.
Well, at least what Litva told before leaving. So she wanted to ask like how she can benefit of that this TV channel used her contact.
Using her content. Yeah, like
Just
I
to
said,
benefit.
it has to be. She has to engrave to put her Instagram username inside the video, in not like a way that they will make it very, how to call the word for it, not to destroy the content, just make it a less opacity and put it in a corner, just so that if someone looks at it, it's visible. I guess the word I was looking for. Not make it too visible, but visible enough that it's there. And then people that see her content outside of Instagram will see that username, and they will know that that is the original creator. So that's one way to go around it. The other way to go around it is to talk to the actual channel themselves and make sure that they tag you. Here in Norway, for example, weather channels really like to use Instagram pictures of landscapes. And what they're very good at is quoting and writing down the name of the photographer or the person that they took the picture from, with their respective consent, of course.
I have been thinking. Yeah, sorry.
One more. I think to take benefits of like the TVSI. I think also the easiest way also like to ask them if if she's allowed to use their like the content in combination where they have used her content, and like to get a small piece from them that she can use in her own profile. So that would be a good idea as well.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe this was the question that probably she would like to show on her Instagram account, that her video was used by this TV channel.
Right.
So,
Of course.
yeah, so she just can ask them to use their materials. Yes. Yeah.
So they should be able to give her that. If it's an online thing, that it's obviously you can record a screen. I don't think there's any copyright issues with that, as far as I'm concerned.
No, but she can ask, like there's an exchange of services.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would start with that. Ask if she's allowed to use and if she can get the file from them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Something is coming from Marie.
Can I ask what ice ball is?
You said ice ball videos, so I assume it's.
But what is ice ball?
You should go to Ritva's YouTube channel and check it out.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do
And
for sure.
follow the channel and
Yeah,
share.
We
it.
will.
What's the name of the channel?
Yeah. Yeah, Ritva. I can help you with screen recording.
Yeah, that's what my second thought was. If there is a option to watch that channel online, then you can just screen record the part where they showcase her video, and then just post it on her story or as a post.
And give a credit to this channel.
100%.
Right.
Very important
Yes.
to give credit. Very important to give credit and make sure that when you post content that is not yours, always tag the original content creator, because otherwise there can be messy outcomes.
I know X Recorder, one of the screen recorder, for example, the application that can make the recording from the screen. Yes, but Marie was.
You just explain.
We still have a couple of minutes, I believe.
That's the YouTube channel.
Thank you, Ritva. I have noticed now, so I'm looking forward to figure out what the ice ball is.
Okay. Yeah, Marie just shared the email address. So if we don't have any other question, actually we are like according to our timetable.
Yeah, we're closing.
Yeah.
8 minutes.
Attilia?
Yes.
Do you have any question, comments? I believe we can finish now the webinar, or what do you think?
Yes, it was. I'm very happy. It was very interesting. Thank you for a lot of good information. There was even something new for me in there, and I work a little bit with marketing every day. So I think that was at least from my side, all questions were answered. Thank you so much for having us and joining us today.
Yes.
Thank you. So much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. So, please. Thank you on my student. I found this very inspirational presentation. Thank you on my and my student behalf. Yes, Anna-Maja is actually a MyStory project team member, also marketing expert. Yes, as I mentioned at the beginning, the recording will be delivered to your email, and also there will be the link to the feedback form. So as usually, we kindly ask you to fill it in because we are planning another webinar. So we will develop our activities. Awesome, guys. Thank you for good presentation. Yes.
Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Truly.
we are very glad to have that we had you with us today, and it was very interesting and inspiring case, the Tromsolove. Yes, and especially that you're so you're a young company but a lot of successful. So yes, you got a follower on Instagram.
Thank you.
Now for sure you should go to YouTube, Mr. Santa Claus Fishing
We have
channel.
written down our channel name. We will find it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Okay.
thank you all very much, and see you at our next webinar in March.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have
You
a good
too.
day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.